Hey friends, it's July 9th, and on today's podcast, I'll be covering reports of 13 Broward County judges stepping down from the bench. Also, 10,000 missing children from the UK government care. Where have they gone to? And a councillor of parliament led a giant-scale pedo ring inside New Zealand. A lot of New Zealand in the reports lately. And finally, I'll be going over memes on today's True Reporting. Hey friends, Thomas here. In front of me, I have an article from July 6th, that was about 3 days ago, talking about 6 judges in Broward County announced their departures from the bench in the first half of 2018, and 7 more have indicated that they plan to retire by the end of the year. The latest resignation comes Friday with Broward County Circuit Judge John Patrick Catini calling it quits after 3.5 years on the bench. Now, so this is 3 days ago. Let's go back about a week, and I remember I talked to you about this report. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel to be fired. Now, we all know that he was the spokesperson for what happened in Broward County. We all know what I'm talking about. I can't talk about it or this will get flagged. So, a lot of weird stuff going on, a lot of talk of Debbie Wasserman Schultz too. So what is going on in Broward County? Very suspicious, a lot of activity. Also, I wanted to touch base on this. I have a lot of these to go over. A lot of this stuff I don't know if I'm just aware of it now, but a lot of this is just staying in the news for since I've been doing this podcast, which is January. It's just constant, just pedophilia, child trafficking, arrests, all kinds of stuff. These what went on in Arizona, in Tucson with the camp and all that kind of stuff. There's just a ton of stuff going on, and it's no doubtably creeping into the mainstream, which is crazy. So let me hop into this real quick. So it says 10,000 missing children. More than 10,000 children have mysteriously disappeared from government care last year as a child trafficking epidemic for elite pedophile rings in the UK becomes more obvious. There are fears that thousands of vulnerable children are trafficked and groomed as they slip off the radar from government care in the UK. As many as 1 in 10 children disappear without a trace in 2017, according to official figures, with which many children disappearing several times a year. The epidemic is not surprising when it was discovered that members of the pedophile Asian grooming gang responsible for tracking children for sex in the UK have received over $1 million in legal aid to help them defend criminal charges and fight deportation. Isn't that just disgusting? According to DM, it comes amid concerns that the young people are falling into the hands of gang grooming children following recent scandals in Rotherham and Telford. Some of the children were reported missing more than a month ago, and that is what the Daily Telegraph reports. So 10,000 that are under government care are going missing. Well, where are they going? They're being pushed into these rings. That's what's going on. Check this out. So prostitutes, orgies, group sex, all of it. Ex-wife of former Maori leader says he had led a pedophile ring who passed victims around like a box of beer. And it goes to the highest heights of the New Zealand power structure. Now, haven't we been hearing a lot about New Zealand? We keep hearing about the Five Eyes. We keep hearing about Hillary. We keep hearing about New Zealand over and over and over. So what is going on in New Zealand? We've had earthquakes there. We've had stuff going on there. So his name is Tay Black, was a Maori party councillor until his 2016 death at age 48. His wife, Anna Hara, claimed he and several other men sexually abused young girls. He would have had affairs, orgies, and abused young girls with pedophiles, she said. Miss Black said he abused because he was assaulted by his father when he was young. That tends to be the case, no doubt. An esteemed politician had orgies, groomed young girls, and led a pedophile ring, his wife has claimed in a bombshell video. Tay Black, a Maori party councillor and parliament candidate from Taronga, New Zealand, died at the age of 48 of organ failure after drinking himself to death in 2016. In an emotional Facebook Live video 2 years later, his wife, Anna Hera, has claimed he and several other men sexually abused young girls and passed victims around like a box of beer. Horrible. Weeping hysterical into the self-filmed video, she said on Saturday, "I have an announcement to make on behalf of my kids, and perhaps it will shock a lot of you, and perhaps it will help some of you find some comfort. Something that needs to be done." Ms. Black explained that her husband, who she met at age 15 and married at age 18, was not the man many in her community thought. "Those good deeds Awa did for individuals will live on in the memory of their lifetime," she said. "However, the pain and suffering he caused others may live on for generations to come if things are left unsaid." So we hear about a lot of New Zealand in the news, right? We hear a lot about pedophilia stuff in the news. Is it just me, or is it just because we're aware of it? We'll go into more of it. I have a lot of memes here I want to show you guys. So they're obviously trying to normalize this. So we see here that we see a lot of Salon, we see Cracked, we see The Blog, we see Gawker. What else do we see? I know there's more of these in here. Newsweek, Pulse. There's a lot of this stuff. So what do we see? What we see here, it says, "Born this way, sympathy and science for those who want to have sex with children. Pedophilia, a sexual orientation like being straight or gay. A pedophile opens up about being targeted by vigilantes. I am a pedophile. You're the monster. My weak inside the vile right-wing hate machine. I am a pedophile, but not a monster. Why is the alt-right obsessed with pedophilia? Pedophilia is fate, not a choice, leading scientists claim." So they're always trying to normalize it. Look on your kids' Disney Channel. Look on kids' YouTube. Definitely being pushed on there also that homosexuality is fine, which, whatever. I don't care, but I don't want my kid knowing what it is when he's 6 years old, So we'll go up here. Let's check this out. A very brief explanation on what's going down this week. My profile is private, but the post is public. Please hit share to share this post and all documents and photos. Number 1, Q and Trump have received the contents of my server, which includes the following. I will tell you who this person is in the end. A, entire DNC server, far more than exposed by Guccifer 2.0. B, entire HRC email server, including detailed email, 64,000 total. C, entire Obama, Podesta, Biden, FBI, CIA email servers and attachment files, over 1 million files total. D, Hillary, Weiner email servers with attachments. E, Pizzagate files, including video, photos, and correspondence. F, entire file on Uranium One, including Russian side. G, a total of 3 terabytes and over 2 million documents. H, every donation to the Clinton Foundation. I, every donation to the DNC. J, Obama's offshore bank accounts. K, Clinton's offshore bank accounts. L, McCain's bank accounts. M, every name, address, phone number, credit card payments of Soros employee donations to DNC. RNC, yes, Republicans, Soros bought off. Antifa, Clinton Foundation. N, donations to the Clinton campaign from 19 illegal foreign countries. 19 counts of campaign fraud here. O, complete Clinton body count over 30 years. P, classified emails. Q, Benghazi, Yemen, Syria, war plans between HRC, Podesta, Obama, Qatar, rebels, and Al-Qaeda. Sorry, I have to stop at QQQQQ. I understand that. George M. Nassif. And this is talking about, they got this from George Soros. Now, this could be all hearsay, yet it was very interesting. Take of it, think what of it, what you will. But we'll continue going because I definitely want to show you guys this stuff because it's very interesting. And I'm not trying to fearmonger you. I'm just, just showing you this stuff because it's interesting to us. And it's getting taken care of. It wouldn't be in the news if we weren't taking care of it, Exactly. So, a few weeks ago, there was an online fundraiser for illegal alien children that piqued my curiosity and made me pay attention and dig into their activity. You see, I thought it was very strange that an online campaign for some illegal folks could raise over $20 million in a really short amount of time. That would give the appearance that the majority of the U.S. citizens were welcoming this invasion with open arms, and I know that isn't the case. The first thing I noticed is the fundraiser was being held by the RAICES Foundation. They are giving credit to Dave and Charlotte Wilner in the hopes that nobody as nosy as I am would pay attention, but they were wrong. I ran across an article that said Slippers raised $1.5 million to help kids torn from their families and at the border, and I just had to read the article as I suspected. She was raising money for RAICES races also. I knew that all the money that was raised in such a short period of time was not organic. Absolutely not. Another organization was raising money for what was the Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project. Refugees don't have rights, and they are invading our country. But let me continue with the story. The logo for the Florence Project is one that is fresh off the pedophile website. Just because you add a bird doesn't make it better. Or it says, now here is where things took an interesting turn. The parents legally in the U.S. must submit a form through a state debt-funded resettlement agency. So we'll continue. So check it. This is continuing on. Oh, it's blurry, but I can still make it out. Now, how many parents do you think are living in the U.S. and have just left their children in the supposed horrors they are leaving? Yeah, me neither. Then the minor in Central America is interviewed by a resettlement support center. Really? So they just went around putting up resettlement centers, and there are Americans living on the streets. The parent that is in the U.S. and the child that is left behind has to submit DNA samples. That is where 23andMe comes in, and apparently they are looking for specific children to traffic into the U.S. They created an elaborate scheme to steal, traffic, molest, and hurt children in unimaginable ways, and now they are trying to create as much confusion as possible, so we will just sit back and accept the mess. Well, I will continue to expose these horrors as I find them. Pretty terrible, you know. I mean, they have all this stuff set up. That's why they want all these people coming in. So jewelry worn by pedophiles to signal their preference to other child abusers. So we've seen this, right? Boy love logos, girl logos. You've seen those many and many a time. Also, we see here as boy lover, little boy lover. So we see these things. This is the Federal Bureau of Investigation Intelligence Bulletin. These are the symbols and logos used by pedophiles. Unclassified, enforcement sensitive. So, yeah. I know you guys have seen that many, many a time. But maybe someone who's new to this channel has not seen it. So I need to just show you, right? So this is what that place is called. This is what I believe it was called Races, RAICES. And this is their emblem right here. And this is where they're talking about the duck or whatever leaving. We look down here, AKA little boy lover. It is the exact, just about the exact same damn thing. I mean, we can just, come on. Come on. Their symbolism will be their fall, right? It will be their downfall. So look here, give now. Look who it is. Oh, obviously, it's got to be her. So right here, thanks to all of you. This is a Hillary Clinton tweet. Thanks to all of you, we now have crossed the $500,000 mark. Here's where your generosity is going. Let's keep it up. Right here, we see it. The Florence Project right there. And Races, Texas down there. Support families at the border. This is why they want open borders. Come on. Trump can't just come out and say it, but that's why. Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project at Florence. Here we go. And then more of the little boy lover signal right here. The Florence Project is a non-profit organization providing free legal and social services to women and men and unaccompanied children in the immigration custody in Arizona. Whoa, I didn't even know it was in Arizona. So, yeah, Arizona, we all know about the camp that was there in Tucson. And we also, I went over, there was a direct path straight into Mexico. So all of this ties together. Jeez Louise. Donate to support families at the border. Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services. Races right here. We can We can be heartbroken about what's happening at the border, but we shouldn't feel hopeless. Make a donation to support the group working to protect the kids and families separated by ICE. Such propaganda. Hillary Clinton raised $1.5 million to help kids torn from their families at the border. Half of the donations came from Twitter. Good Lord. Races. Here we go. Here's a tweet from Races. We do not have the words to thank Charlotte and Dave Wilner. I would look into them. Thanks is inadequate for the work these funds will make possible. We know it will change lives. We know it will save lives by keeping people from being deported to unsafe countries. Reunite an immigrant child with their parent. $20 million raised of $25 million. And don't you know about this picture right here, that this was completely set up? I know you saw that all over Facebook and Reddit and Twitter and God knows what else. It's all propaganda. In a Facebook post Tuesday, Zuckerberg took aim at Trump's administration's zero-tolerance policy, calling for donations to organizations such as Texas Civil Rights Project and Races, a Texas nonprofit that helps families with legal advice and translation services. So, you know, Zuckerberg's in on it too. Definitely all in on it. They're all in on it. Hanging from a noose. Facebook fundraiser to help immigrant children tops $20 million with global donations. I would like to know who's getting that $20 million. I would really like to know, because I guarantee you it's not the families. How about this meme? We have the server, and all this will be exposed. Am I right? I am right. So let's check this out real quick. June 9th, 2018. He was right in the middle of kidnapping and murder of tens of thousands of people. If you were female, the chances were good if you were going to get sent to a special facility, which was frequent not only by members of the elite in the country, but also the elite from other countries too. Those coming from other countries seem to have the philosophy that they could do as they like with no repercussions because who would ever know? And they are delusional. But when you have a regime that corrupt, they want some leverage, and many, if not most of these encounters with the females were captured on film or video. The video is grainy stuff and old now, but the films are vivid and you can identify everyone in them. The person in charge of collecting and cataloging the videos and the subjects belonging to a cabinet-level member of the government, long though destroyed, many of the world's elite who had participated, breathed a sigh of relief last year when the videographer died. It turns out, though, the films and videos who is who in each was never destroyed. They were all in a garage next to a guest house where they had been for decades. In February, one of his children started digging through it. She told members of the family and lots of her friends, and also in March told one of her longtime friends she had met through her sister. The person she told was a foreign-born, permanent A-list celebrity. The subject of our blind was not blasting this all on social media, but she was not keeping it quiet either. None of the people she told really never had seen much of the films, but they were too hard to watch. 2 weeks ago, the government of the country came to collect the entire library of films. That they had not recovered were the volumes that named names in each of the films. After such a long time, they needed the volumes to be able to identify each person in the film. They said they wanted them to let relatives of the long-dead families know their fate. No one knows where the volumes are now. What we do know is the woman who held them back is dead. Country Argentina, former Argentinian Army General Luciano Benjamin Menendez, cabinet-level member of the government, Jorge Zorreguieta, who found the library, Inez Zorreguieta, sister Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, A-list celebrity Avicii. Happening right now, police raid sex cults in Argentina. Women are enslaved, and since last year they started to talk. Today, police raided a fake hotel where the cult had its headquarters. They enslaved women who were seeking spiritual help, just like NXIVM. It's just the same thing. It's all over the place. Here we go. Right now, happening right now, police raid sex cult in Argentina. Women were enslaved, and since last year, they started to talk. Today, police raided a fake hotel where the cult had its headquarters. They enslaved women who were seeking spiritual help. Absolutely crazy, and you can see it on the TV. So, let's check this out real quick. The QAnon phenomenon is a psyop designed to induce life-ending stress responses in the cannibals. As they cannot manage their bodies through stress chemical production, their bodies die under the stress without human transfusions. The time that is annoying us during these investigations is actually killing the deceivers. The timing is absolutely necessary to ensure that the public witnesses what will happen to them as they no longer have their human trafficking supply of life-saving drugs. Children, feel compassion for their demise as a human body, but recognize that they made their bed. They chose to remain alive knowing that the only way was through feeding off other humans. They are the creators of deception within human interaction. They must go, and the earth will prove it. We won't have to do a single thing except watch the earth take them back as the failed experiment they were. And I totally agree. And that looks like we are done. Are we done? I feel like we had one more. Yeah, we'll check this real quick. So it says, "We the people report. Who do we have here? Sure doesn't look like a private jet to me. Wonder why they're flying Delta and not on a private jet. Assets frozen, hiding in plain sight. Justice is coming." And absolutely, if you have not seen the post of Hillary and Bill Clinton flying commercial, Hillary. Let's see. It's got to be. It was all over the news. It's amazing that they were actually together. I can't find it right now. But I'm sure if you go on Twitter, you can check it out. But yeah, it's all over the news. Like, why are they flying commercial? They're worth like $300 million. You think they could drop $6,000 and fly private to wherever they were going, but they were definitely just sitting amongst people. Very strange. It was very, very strange. But nevertheless, I'm glad I wasn't on that plane, because if I did see them on the plane, I'd be like, well, they're probably going to bring the plane down, right? 7 out of 10 planes are forced down. No coincidences, right? Anyways, guys, that is it for me. I might do some more conspiracy stuff. Please tell me if you enjoyed that, because I have found a whole catalog of that on that subject, and I could probably do 8 podcasts on each different chapter. But if you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, share it, and also subscribe. Those thumbs up, actually, I told you this on the last video, that if you give me these thumbs up and they keep adding up, it actually goes into a different algorithm, and then this video, this podcast, this channel gets pushed out to a more broader audience. So that's very cool. I just found that out the other day. I have a Patreon account if you would care to donate. All donations go to the shipping of, or actually the creating of merch. I will pay for the shipping. And I have a Twitter account if you would care to follow me at TRU Reporting. I post a couple times a day. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Hopefully Q will come back. It's been very quiet on the Q board. So hopefully he'll come back, and usually he does, and just bombards us with post after post after post. And it keeps me on my toes. So anyways, guys, hope you're having a good Monday evening. Take care of one another, be kind to one another, and love one another. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.